into writing in this masterpiece. I have chosen to join the constellation of intellectual bandwidth as well as the custodian of societal behavior present in this assembly to carefully consider the expedition and exploration of the moon the wise counselor, Pastor Adeolu Akinyemi, is pointing at, with this proven concept grounded in the grand narrative of the Word of God, than being stampeded or distracted by the village of imbeciles who would rather examine his finger. Thank you very much.
Can we put our hands together for Mr. Segun Awosonya? That was a very brilliant review. Even though for some of us, we probably need a dictionary to understand a few things. Because when he used the word prophylantism, I had to quickly Google it to be sure exactly what he meant. But can we put our hands together for him once again? You know he thoroughly read the book. Said that this is a university of adversity that has been put in. Some of us may probably not need to go through some things because you can learn from this. So we are going to ask a few questions. I believe everybody seated here has one story or the other to tell. I remember in between when we were getting ourselves ready for this and myself and Julie were chatting, I was telling him that I was upgrading my adversity quotient at the fuel station. Because that particular day, I was the only woman there and I had been queuing for almost 5 hours. And by the time I entered the fuel station, some 2 guys who felt they could shunt now came to my side. I said, look at me very well. I am the only woman in this place. Don't try me. My car is not fine. So if you hit me, I forget my pastoral. I put it in one corner because I think my adversity quotient was at that point in time, it was winning because I wasn't in the mood. So we're going to have a few stories. We have a few people here who are going to share, and we may call on some of you as well. People seated here that will learn from what you have to say. So I am going to call on someone very special. I believe he is ready to share his own experience. You know, sometimes it's really beautiful to just learn from the sage, for someone who has gone ahead of you so that you don't bother making the same mistake. So can we put our hands together as I bring forward Mr. Jimmy Lawal as he shares a bit of his experience and the adversity that he has gone through and how God has helped him to surmount it. We can do better than that, please. Thank you very much. You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My elder brother, Pastor Tunde Bakare, and Mrs. B, my other colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be here. I didn't plan to speak to you, but I was directed by to do so. Now, having said this, you know, I honored Adeolu's invitation for 2 reasons. One is I've known Adeolu for a couple of years, and he's been a very, very enterprising young man. I think I can call him a young man, if you know what I mean, relatively. And I like his spirit. It's never give up spirit, always can do spirit. And for most of us who are here today, I'm sure you must have received at least a couple of phone calls about this event, as I did. I kept getting calls. Are you coming to this event? Are you going to be here? And so I had no choice but to be here, having committed myself on the phone that I was going to come. Even the copy of the books that was sent to me, he didn't send me one. He sent me 2 copies by courier to my house in Ijebu-Ode. So I had to give one to Madame and kept one by my bedside. And the moment I started reading, I saw 2 sets. You must read at least 1 chapter before you show up, and that you might be asked to talk about your own experience. Now, let me correct something that I thought MC, Madame, was referring to. The adversity I thought the book was talking about is not the adversity of somebody slapping you when you are not expecting it. In my opinion, it's not the adversity of someone trying to jump you in a fuel station. No, 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 I'm sorry. What I read in that book is adversity of challenge of life, deeper than just being irritated. You know what I mean? I wanted to leave that with you. And I'll give you, when my pastor said I should come and share my adversity story, I asked him which one. No, because I have a couple. I asked him the previous one, the current one. I'm going through one as I speak to you now. So I will quickly run through. It's difficult because he chose one for me out of the three. Now, I don't know which one of them will relate to you, so I'll quickly run through the three for you, okay? The first one is I was born asthmatic, okay? I'm not ashamed to tell you my age. I'm 63. I'm actually a grandfather, you know? And if you can imagine those days, don't clap here. If you can imagine those days, being born asthmatic is like having HIV/AIDS now. It was incurable. Then it appears to be incurable, okay? What that did to me was I couldn't go to primary school like most young boys did. I have an elder brother who's always fighting with me. And each time I fight back, I started coughing. So he tried to cheat me all the time. And I decided, okay, sure, there's no point in fighting back because it would just trigger off my asthma. So what I would do was to wait for him when he's sleeping, least expecting me. Either I go and pour water on his head or slap him and run back into my room. So it was a major challenge for me, but what did I do about not going to school? My father was a teacher, a principal in school, and I used to go to school with him. So my dad has the Encyclopedia Britannica. I'll never forget in my life. Okay, it was very, very boring to have to sit in the headmaster's office as a young 7, 8 years old, whilst my dad is going to inspect other teachers and all that. What could I do? Look out of the window in his office because he's locked his door. I couldn't go out of his office. So I was forced to start reading Encyclopedia Britannica at age 7 years old, okay? So up until tomorrow, people ask me questions. I don't know how I got the answers. The only thing I know is that sometimes the answer came from Encyclopedia Britannica that I've read when I was 7 or 8 years old. How many people here have read Encyclopedia Britannica? It's 32 volume, huge book, black book, 32 volumes. All the 1 to 32 volumes I've read when I was just a small boy. Okay, of course, I didn't even understand what I was reading, but I had no choice, nothing else to do. So that's one for me, one adversity in life. And just to let you how that got resolved. 13, going to 14, I stopped coughing. No more. I don't know what it is to have cold or have headache. Okay? If I don't feel okay, I just go to sleep. By the time I wake up, I thank God I'm okay. So that's where I believe there's more than just somebody upsetting you. What advice? Challenge. And sometimes it's life itself that resolves it. Not your power, in my opinion. Okay? You shouldn't give up. It's a lesson I saw from this. My second adversity experience was at a very young age. Let me back up a bit. I'd always wanted to be a banker in my life. Don't tell me how. The only thing I can remember was my grandma, Mama Ode, was then the richest person in the family. Not my father, the teacher. Teachers those days don't get paid that much. He was just able to cover his costs. I remember when he was buying his car and building the house, Mama Ode always has to support my dad with some money because she was the market woman, market leader. So I used to go to bank when I was very small, like I said, I wasn't going to school with Mama Ode. Mama Ode has this, what they call Oja, the money robe, that she would stuff her money inside and tie around my waist and then put on my shirt or my danshiki on top of it. I just knew that when I get to the bank with Mama Ode, Barclays Bank those days, I would be the VIP. I was going to the manager's office. Okay, I get candies and then my shirt, I had to take it off so they can remove the money. It wasn't really me they were interested in. I knew it was but what did I do to me? I'd always wanted to be a banker. The bank, and the bank manager those days used to be very, very neat, white shirt and elegant tie. So I liked the neatness of the bank and the attention I was getting. I wanted to be a banker. So I was lucky enough, an uncle of mine was invited to take a test in a bank, and I went with him because I was the only one that would trust to drive his car. I got there, 40 Marina, Barclays Bank those days, And they said, have you taken your school? So I said, yes, I have. This was 1975. I was just 16 years old. Like, you can come in and take. I said, no, but I didn't apply. I said, don't worry, come and take the test. I got in there, I took the test. About 500 people in the room. They came and called 3 of us. I was second person called out that the staff manager wanted to see. Why did they call me? When I got there, are you sure you're the one who did this work? I said, yes, I was sure. I said, how come? You know the answer. What is the answer, ladies and gentlemen? Encyclopedia Britannica. You got it? So I got a job. I got back home that weekend, told that I'd been offered a job. He said, no, go and sit down. What happened to your uncle? He took that. I said, Dad, I'm not joking. I'm not messing. I've been offered a job. Where? Barclays Bank. How is that possible? You're just 16 years old. You have to be 18 before you can work in a bank. So my headache and what I became, because Dad was very, very disciplined, and he wouldn't let me go and work at 16 because I was 18. So I decided to starve myself. I would not eat. So after 3 days, 4 days, Mom started crying and said, look, you can't allow this boy to die. Let him go and get this job. Okay, I will give up. You guys like to be fraudulent. Let someone go and do the declaration of age for him, but I wouldn't do it. So my uncle that I took to the bank was the one who did the declaration of age for me, that I was 18, going on 19, so I can start the job in a bank. That's how I got my first job in Barclays Bank. And I thank God I got the job, because every year I got triple promotion until I said to myself, I don't want to be in a bank as a clerk. I want to go and get a degree. So I went to UK and I became one of the youngest to qualify as ACIB. I was lucky. Barclays got converted into Union Bank because of indigenization decree of 1978. Are you following me? So with that, Union Bank now to come and open an office in UK, in London, where I just qualified as an ACIB. Youngest ACIB, whether you're black or white, I was the youngest, 22, to qualify. So they wrote to me asking me if I want to come and work with them in London. I said, that's people crazy. Why would I want to go back to Lagos and earn Naira if I can earn pound sterling? So I joined. We were the first to start Union Banks of Nigeria's office in London, England. My secretary then, as first supervisor in the bank, is still the secretary of the MD in Union Bank in London. Okay, Gabriela Ebie. If you go there, this is life story. I'm telling you, she's still there. I go there till whenever I'm in London, and they receive me with red carpet, not blue carpet that Adeolu gave us instead of red carpet. But life goes on. Now, so I have to fast forward so I don't take too much of your time. Fortunately enough, I've met enough people in the bank, some good, some bad, but you know, no poor person comes to the bank. That's first you must know. If a poor person comes to the bank, he or she is not noticed. Okay, you have to be rich, super rich, for you to be noticed and given attention in the bank. Remember my grandmother and the jazz story. So I got to know a few people in the bank. Of course, money is not a measurement of one's character. Keep that in mind, okay? For me, those days, meeting people who are rich, I didn't crooked in spite of being rich, okay? I'll mention 3 or 4 names so you can relate to some of those that I met. One of those I met that was very super rich is a gentleman called Lord Chief Dike Udensi Fego. He's dead now, may so rest in peace. He was the owner and the founder of Dubic Breweries, Dubic Industries. Okay, these are real life people that I related with. This guy was one of the richest persons I've known, and he liked me as a person, young man. He said, look, to have my own bank. After starting Union Bank in London, I'm making money in 18 months. I went to have my own bank. And I went to Lord Chief. Lord Chief said, the many amount of money you need, I will put that in the bank. You're a brilliant young man. So he guaranteed he would pay for the shareholders' funds for the bank. That gave me the impetus to write the business plan. And as luck will have it, we succeeded. Because one of my clients then is also someone known as then Colonel Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, who later became the head of state of Nigeria a couple of years after I met him in 1985. I will never forget. I sent him a telegram from my office in London to congratulate him for becoming president, and he responded and asked me to visit him next time in Nigeria. Can you imagine? And I visited him in the Dam Barracks those days, and I was well received, okay, until I got to his chief of staff, who came to the waiting room and said, where is Mr. Jimilawa? And I stood up. He was like, no. The president said you are his friend. It must be your dad. I said, no, it's me. I was president's friend. And the guy was doubting me. And there come IBB himself and said, let him come. That's Jimmy. That's my friend. Okay, those days, if you can imagine, my brother, Mr. Awosoya, My hair was like his, but with jerry curls. I was wearing jerry curls. You know, my wife's shirt when I got to become brown. But anyway, that's part of growing up. So I met the president. I told him, he said, okay, Jimmy, are you coming back? I said, yes, I want to come back, sir. Can we get you a job? I want to appoint you as ED of Union Bank. I said, no, sir, I don't want to work for the bank. What do you want? I want to start my own bank. I was just 27. And he said, you want to start your own bank? I said, yes, sir. He said, okay, I know you can do it. Why not? What do you need? I said, the banking policy makes it impossible. You have to have a foreign bank as a partner to start a bank. Meanwhile, all the foreign banks have been indigenized. So what is the point of doing so? He said, you have a point. Let me get you to go and see the then Minister of Finance, Dr. Chuo Kongu. So he called Dr. Kongu. I'm going to send my friend to come and see you. Again, because I wouldn't have to wait, being the president's friend, only for him to look at me and say, are you the one that president, you're his friend? I said, yeah, I'm president's friend. So, okay, please come in. Tell me, you must have something good to say. I told him, the banking laws are dated. They don't make sense. He said, okay, what do you want us to do? They change it to make sure that we don't have people who are cheating by saying they have foreign bank as partner, when in fact there was no foreign bank. You know how I got to know? One of the foreign bankers then was my uncle. Again, he's still alive. His house is here today in Ijebu. Otumba Shubimi Balogun, First City Monument Bank. Okay? So I was able to convince the Minister of Finance that the laws have to change, and the laws were changed. Long story called short, I got a license, started a bank. We opened for business on 06/06/88. I don't have a book with me, but I could remember because of my life experience. Within 6 months, the bank broke even. We had a capital of $5 million, those days, 5 million naira. Naira was stronger than dollars. The point I'm telling you. Now we're talking about 800 naira to dollar, 1,000 naira to dollar, but that was in those days. And my then chairman, one of the people I met, I've told you about the good ones, now the bad ones. Okay? This is what I see as adversity quotient, rather than, you know, it was adversity that made good, I also made bad. I couldn't do anything about it. Because the bank broke even in no time, we made money, about $2 million profit on $5 million invested within 180 days. My chairman said I should see him at home. I went to see him at home. What is his name? Chief Michael Omishade. Again, he's also dead today. But I'm friendly with his children, well, at least one or two of them. So the man called me. I went to his son. What did he say to me? Jimmy, I have a business. I want us to bring $1 million from the bank. And within 90 days, we'll make 50% profit. I said, Chief, we can't just bring money from the bank. You have to apply for a loan and give us collateral. Let's do the appraisal. Chief said, you have to apply for a loan. Jimmy, what is wrong with you? At your age, you're the ED of a bank. And I'm asking you, I'm the chairman, to trust me. You're not trusting me. If you don't trust me, what are you doing in the office? Why did we come all this way together? I said, Chief, I trust you, but I'm a professional banker, sir. This is the way I'm taught to do things. You have to, if I can give it to, why don't I give it to myself? You have to apply. We have to do loan appraisal. You have a loan approval committee that the board approved. You are the chairman of the board. He said, no, if I'm not going to, I should leave his house. I left the house. I didn't see anything wrong with what I did. I got back into my office. The following morning, I remember I just came back from UK. I engaged all my staff, including my own MD. I didn't want to be the MD because I felt I was too young. Even though I knew the job, I needed the protection. So I engaged an MD. I was an ED in the bank, in charge of banking and finance. So I was running the bank, even though I wasn't the MD by title. So the MD walked to my office and said, Jimmy, what is wrong with you and Chief? The chairman, I said, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong. The Chief asked me to do something I don't feel like we're doing. I just got a letter from Chief. Showed me the letter. Letter say, I've not done my youth service. I should leave the bank and go and do my youth service. So, ladies and gentlemen, I served in my bank as a youth corper for 12 months, earning 200 naira. Okay, but the good thing about that is that I didn't have to do anything about the weekly service. By the time I was parking my car like half a mile from the service location in Ojo, and I would walk down, but you can't hide who you are. They all knew the young man was owned a bank, an ED of a bank, and none of my fellow youth corper wanted me to work. I have 10 people around me when I was trying to get a broom or something. No, sir. No, sir. Why? Because they're looking for a job. So they were there to assist me and all that. If I could assist, I assist. But one of the important messages I want to leave here, why I like Adeolu, is my brothers and sisters, the best thing in life is to be your own boss. Be an entrepreneur. Don't work for anybody for the rest of your life, okay? Don't worry if you're not ready. Just go and start. What you need to make it work will follow you. They will happen to you. Can you hear me? 70% of businesses in Europe and Asia are privately owned and they employ less than 5 people. So please start. You don't need to start with more than 2 people. Right now, it's Adeolu and Mrs. Akinyemi, Lady Me, that are doing it. Maybe he has other staffs, but you must start your own business as soon as possible. That's one of the most important lessons I want to leave with you and why I'm excited to be here today. Finally, I survived Shade, but the bank did not survive it. Okay? Because once it doesn't matter who is right or who is wrong. Money and dispute, they don't mix together. People just rush and say, let's just have our money back. Let's just have our money back. It doesn't matter who is right, who is wrong. So Alpha Merchant Bank became what I call a successful failure. What do I mean by that? The bank was taken over by the central bank, NDIC, more so because we had bought Afri Bank then. Afri Bank used to be IBWA. Remember, International Bank for West Africa Limited. Someone there said yes. Okay, it's not about no, yes, what I went through. We bought the bank, and that was the saving grace for me. So Alpha's failure became a successful failure. What do I mean? 10 years after the bank was forcefully taken over by Abacha, Abacha competed against us in Afri Bank. He then became the head of state, November 1993. Okay, I can't forget the date, 17/11 or there about 1993. I had to leave Nigeria, and I was an exile for 10 years before I returned. One of those who worked with me then, who also became my boss, even though I was his boss, is Governor Sirel Rufai, worked with me in the bank, Alpha Merchant Bank, Alpha Properties. So this is a bit of my adversity that I've shared with you. And because Alpha went into liquidation and we had bought Afri Bank, we were able to sell our shares in Afri Bank for 3 times what we paid for it, such that all the shareholders and the person in Alpha Merchant Bank got paid back. I also got a couple of millions of dollars from it. So I was able to retire and go into public service. God bless you all.
Wow. No, I think he deserves another round of applause. That's a very, very deep story. And I'm sure we all remember the foundation of this adversity story. The Encyclopedia Britannica. And yes, the asthma costed. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing. He really took his time. For those of us who are in career, have a career, running career, this is something that you can actually learn from. I know when he said the best thing is for you to work for yourself and all of you should be entrepreneurs. Some people were giggling at the back. I'm wondering I'm sure that's what was going through there. Really, when there's a will, there really is a way. And definitely, if you have been led to do it, surely there's a way for you. And I think this is the time. If you know you want to go into it, just step out, as he said. Thank you. And take another adversity story. If there's anyone here who would like to share, I know I'd spoken to one person who could give us a bit of her story. There's someone right here that I know very well. I'm sure she will be wondering whether I should call her or not, but I can see her from one corner, but let me just wait for her. But I don't know whether Mrs. Ezenwe, you'll be Ezewi. Before I murder your name. Ezewi, yes, Ezewi. She's a proprietress of Oakwood School. Can we put our hands together? She will surely have a story. It may not be that adverse.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me stand on the existing protocol. You must be wondering how I got here. I came across Mr. Akinyemi in August this year when I was looking for a facilitator to do a training for my school, the 7 habits of highly effective people. So someone that did something for me, Felix, to be precise, mentioned him. So I gave him a call, and the way he responded, and before you knew it, the date was set. And he came and did the training for us. And that was the most effective training we ever had. So school business is complex. You don't have adversity once in a while or challenges. You have it every day. So you plan for it. You plan for receiving the children in the morning, let nothing go wrong. then the school boss, the teacher, and their parents, you name it. I'm going to share only one aspect. It's anyone, but when I set up the school, it's a Montessori school, and it was still new then, and that was in 2006. So it was difficult to convince parents to, key into the method. And considering the method of education, you require a lot of materials because you must move from concrete to abstract. So before you introduce any concept, there must be a material for the children to appreciate it. So I looked at the cost. I checked everything before we took off, and I realized that if I'm to charge parents or prospective parents the required amount set up, it means I won't get any patronage. So I decided to cut it into half. So I fixed the school fees at 40,000 per term. So, and we started with 10 pupils. Then after a whole session, our population got to 35 pupils. Then we had to 40,000 for another year. And we depended solely on my husband to pay salaries because we are not able to break even. For you to do it right, you must make use of direct resistance, Montessori teachers. So I was bent on doing it right. But by the time we did it for 2 years, our population rose to 70 pupils. And I felt that the time was ripe for me to increase the school fee. Hold it. So I made it 8. And the parents were furious. But because I understand and I am offering, I stood my ground. So they left, almost all of them left. Went through all the schools in Surulere, checked all the schools. At the time we were about to resume, I didn't know that any of them will come back. But surprisingly, a few days to resumption, almost all of them came back, except only about 2 families that were not able to afford the school fees at that time. So it turned around for us because by the time they went round, they discovered that they didn't find any school that measures up to our own standard. So, and they all came back. So this is the one I felt I should share. So sometimes it's not maybe the person you're working with or that maybe the decision you take, but if you're an entrepreneur, you should be ready to take risks. But before you take risks, you have to be sure of what you are offering. So I went through the books. I was surprised when I got the book from Mr. Adeolu, Akinyemi, and inviting me to come and share a story and to be part of it. I was wondering, I said, only a few months in relationship, but that few months relationship has really grown. Not just between us, even the school. His name is now, up there in the school. Because of the duty to come. And having gone through I was able to read chapters 1 to 3. And the much I have read, I recommend the book to everyone, not just entrepreneurs, to everyone, because there are aspects that will help you in taking life decisions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Nzewi. Yes, so this is a teacher through and through, and that's why at least we're sure she has read the book. We are moving on quickly, and this is to remind each and every one of us that this is a book launch, the book launch of Dear Entrepreneur, which is And of course, it's all about you upgrading your adversity quotient. Each and every one of us seated here is here to launch the book, not just to smile and clap. So please remember, we are definitely going to launch this book with our pockets, definitely. So we're moving on. We have a few things to let you know that this is not just only about the book. There is something bigger. There's something that is an offshoot of and this book in print. There is a community, there's something larger for each and every one of us to be part of so that you don't bother walking alone. At least you are together to be able to surmount whatever obstacle or challenge may be before you. So right now, I'm going to take a quick video before I call on the author of this amazing book. So I think we're ready. We're going to have the video.
Once upon a time, a man was walking along the road in the dark. And as he was walking, a few people gathered and were walking behind him as well, contemplating traveling along that path. But no ahead of him. But this young man decided to venture into the dark and move. And because nobody could see what was lying ahead, but because what he wore was a bit reflective, they could see what he wore, and he felt since he was ahead of them, it would be good to just follow him as well. And this person leading in front kept on going and squinting his eyes, trying as much as possible to see the front. He tries to dodge a few potholes, and as he dodges, everybody dodges with him as well. But all of a sudden, he got to a particular place, and there was a very big ditch. And this young man, as he was trying to cross, landed in a ditch, fell, picked himself up, and gathered himself up and climbed out again. Guess what? While falling into the ditch, he sustained a wound. The wound was quite deep. So on his journey forward, he began to limp. But guess what? All the other people that were following him, about 50 of them, had the opportunity of being able to circumvent the ditch and not get wounded because they learned from the lesson he provided. And this book is lessons provided from someone who pioneered into and ventured into the dark. And in doing this, has had a number of lessons, had a number of wounds, and is still moving forward. Now, as you pick up this book to read, a number of things happen for you. One, you have the opportunity of not jumping into the same ditch because now you can avert them. But if you go through life closing your eyes for the people that are walking ahead of you, you may need to create lessons for others behind you as well. I want to welcome you to the Titanium Tribe as you get a copy of this book, and let's do magic together.
So to let us have the big picture behind Dear Entrepreneur, I would like to tell you a little bit about the author. Adeolu Akinyemi, the Group Managing Director of Avenues to Wealth Group, which provides advisory and leadership support for a number of businesses and charities. He enjoys teaching, coaching, and inspiring others on an eclectic range of personal development topics. He is a blockchain enthusiast, a wellness fan, a network marketing champion, and a Jesus aficionado. He's been happily married to his secondary school friend, and together they have 3 amazing children. One in the university, another in senior secondary school, and the current last one, the tontolo of the house, in preschool. Let's put our hands together as I call on the author of Dear Entrepreneur, Upgrade Your Adversity Quotient, as he exposes and explains to us the big picture. We will need you to go upstage so that we can see.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. I'd like to start by, and please forgive me if I'm not able to mention every name. I've learned this over and over again from watching my pastor and my mentor. He always greets everybody. I don't know how he does it. It's a gift I've not finished converting yet. I'd like to thank Pastor and Mrs. Tunde Bakari for gracing today's occasion. You're welcome. Thank you very much. As I'm thanking us, I will be telling a few stories, and I'll tell you why this book and the big picture very quickly as well. I'd like to also thank Dr. Mrs. Goma. Thank you very much for coming. You know, her husband called me just before this event and said to me, Adeolu, I'd planned to be here. And then he said something to me that I was telling somebody outside. I said, today, volume 2 is ready from these things that people have told me today about why they are not here. Volume 2 of Advanced Quotient is already ready. Thank you very much for representing. Thank you, Barrister Tope Adebayo. Thank you. Thank you, Daddy and Mommy Adewodu. You're welcome. Thank you. Please, thank you, everyone. Please, I'd like you, first of all, please help me celebrate everyone for being here today. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming and coming on time. One of the keynote speakers for today, I invited a few key people that are my mentors. And one of the people that was supposed to speak at the time I'm speaking right now called me 10 minutes before 2 o'clock and said, Adeolu, I'm coming from Ibadan and I'm on the Long Bridge. He said, but I need to tell you, I want to turn around now. I said, why? He said, because as I'm speaking to you, I just got news that one of my major investments is on fire. Now, this investment is, and it says it's on fire. I can still come, but if I come, I probably would not really fully be in that event. Please, I'd like to turn back. I just said I should let you know. And he said, for the last 4 days, I've been battling different challenges. He said 5 days ago, one of our staff was kidnapped. We negotiated ransom and paid the ransom. And the person that went to pay the ransom was kidnapped. And this is not super story. This is 10 minutes before this event. And then the person was kidnapped and released. And then this fire now happened. Please, I'm with you. I need to turn back. I and my wife were in the car together, and my wife said, it's as if this adversity thing. It's not, you don't get to a place where you said, it is finished. Are we together? And the whole idea behind this is, usually in many motivational talks and special speeches, what we talk about is the success. What we talk about is how to hammer before summer without trauma. And drive your Hummer in Oklahoma. And it's all about the hammer. And rarely do we talk about the fact that before we finally got to where we are, everything that could go wrong possibly went wrong. And the idea behind this was to basically share the story of a few things that have gone wrong. Please trust me. This book is not even it's not volume 1 of 3. There are a lot more volumes of very funny, horrible stories of things that have happened. And the idea behind the book is to share and realize that, sometimes when I listen to my mentor, father, and pastor, and he shares some stories with me, I know that the stories he's sharing with me are not stories that are even in the public, because I've not seen them in the public. And I realize that our adversity stories are shared very privately. And it is those who understand the adversity stories that are likely to replicate the success stories, because the pathway to success is riddled with many failures. And I think one of the things we don't celebrate enough in this side of the world is the challenges we go through. Sometimes you talk to people like, man, you don't understand. Somebody came to my office one day to see me about a problem. She was having import challenges. She was having a few issues. And when the person came and I shared my story with her, she said she's now fine. Now everything's okay now. That I shouldn't say anything again. That I thought I had problem. That, but if what you have described to me is happening to you, then I'm fine. Everything will be all right. And I want to thank God that everything is all right with the person now. The big picture behind this, and I want to, thank everybody. I can see Adeolu Ojo, thank you very much. You're welcome. I can see Chike Adeolu. These are people from my secondary school. This is about 35 years relationship. Yes, Sultan Olude, Please help me celebrate them. I can see some of my egmons at the back. I can see Nia Desoya, Pastor Nia Desoya. Thank you very much. I can see Bengadenuga. I can see, I celebrate all of you. Bengala, please, if I've not mentioned your name, I celebrate you. Tomiwa, thank you very much. And Expert. Thank you. Sometimes we remember ourselves by the failure things we did together. The things that we did together that didn't succeed. They are reminders of the fact that, we've been through. Now, the idea behind this is in adversity, if you read this book, you'll see how a lot of people have been support to me. There are people that are here. You'll find their names in the book of people who today, I like to describe me today as somebody that is like Jesus. Sometimes I don't want to be like Jesus. Not because I don't want to be like Jesus, but because the anger of what's going on is like, Jesus, just leave me for 5 minutes. Let me show this person that somebody else exists inside this place. But sometimes every time I go to Pastor Sunday Bakari and I say, he will say, Jerry, don't fight. I'm like, sir, when I see you in public, you're fighting. I recognize you as a fighter. I said, no, I don't fight. I never fight. I've never had a court case. I say, yeah. And the counsel is correct, it's true. But sometimes, it happens to all of us. You feel like, let me just, I remember Sega called me and said, when were you going through these things? You didn't call me. You know that police is like this. We'll call police. We'll settle the issue. And somebody said, I was angry. I was angry throughout. Somebody said that, all sides of it. I want to thank God for the community, the fact that you can share, the fact that other people can share their stories with you, and that can help you go through your journey. The fact that you can see a bigger picture and realize that nothing that doesn't kill you, anything that happens to you that doesn't kill you actually makes you stronger, and that there's plenty in front that you are being given capacity for. So the big picture here today is, yes, we are launching the book. We want to get the book out to the world, but more importantly, we are tying this book to a tribe. There's a new tribe we're driving, and I think this should be on every table. It says Titanium Tribe. And the idea behind this is everybody who buys a book, every book that everybody gets, gives you an opportunity to be a part of this tribe. The idea behind this tribe is we can have a small community of people who share their success stories, share their failure stories, are part of each other's stories, get encouragement from other people's stories, and get motivation to continue going, because in the football match between failure and success, the winner is not who scores the most goals. The winner is who scores the last goal. And it's my hope that all of us will live our lives in such a way that failure may score many goals, but failure will not score the last goal on us. I like the way the Japanese took a scripture and they made it their own. The Japanese said an entrepreneur is somebody who fails 7 times, who falls 7 times and gets up 8 times. I think it's an adaptation from scripture that says a righteous man falls 7 times and gets up again. The Chinese say you fall down 7 times, you get up 8 times. That's what entrepreneurship is about. And one of the things that is really, really motivational for me is I realize if you succeed, you may not be able to repeat that success. But if you fail, you will need to repeat that class. And failure kind of like motivates you to learn more. I was telling somebody, if you score 40, it's called Let My People Go. Are we together? That's the end of that course. You will never look at it again. But if you score 39, you still spend 1 year. And that 1 year, you make up your mind that I better not score 39 again. And that failure somehow has loads of lessons that we can learn ourselves and we can share with the world as well. So the idea behind this is we want to get this book out. We feel, I believe passionately that people need to learn from failure. People need to develop the capacity to face challenges. Challenges will come even after you succeed. I like what Mr. Jimmy said. Should I tell you about the one I'm going through now? Okay, that Job is the one that said, man is born to trouble as surely as sparks fly upwards. So the sparks will fly upwards. Men are born into trouble. So I've shared a little bit of my own trouble stories with you. I'm sure there are so many more stories that we're going to learn and enjoy in the course of today's meeting. Thank you very much. Please, if you have not mentioned your name, I can see MNC, I can see Mr. Godwill, I can see Sunano Favor, I can see JSM for real. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up today. I really appreciate you. And I hope that together, we're going to pioneer something that becomes inspirational for the world around us to embrace entrepreneurship and know that failure is part of this thing. Thank you very much. God bless.
Can we give him another round of applause? I must commend your audacity to be able to put all that you did in grit, like I keep saying, and strength to be able to do that. Okay. Explained that, like we said, it's not just opportunity to get into a community. It's important that we're able to build our social capital and be able to get support, because it's not if the challenges will come, it is when they will come. So it's best you don't walk alone. So on the cards that you have on the table, there's a QR code that you can scan so that you can be part of this. You are not leaving this place until you join this tribe. Definitely take that from me. And you can fill it in, or if you have someone that you believe should be part of this, an opportunity for you to help someone. We're moving on to the next item of the agenda, but before that, I know that many of us that are seated here got a copy of the book, right? Right? Okay, so we want to find out. I'll just ask a few people. You have an opportunity to call a friend to know whether you actually read the book. So if I come to you and you're afraid, call a friend. You can knock out options. Away from me. This is just a very quick part of this event before we go to the just take my person. Fantastic. Some very much. You look really good. Can you tell us anything about the book? Chapter 1. What's right in front?
Thank you for
Yes. You have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
acting, not reacting.
Okay. All right. So chapter 7. Can someone? You can call a friend. I can call a friend. Let me think the friend. Just quickly check it. Okay. Okay.
The 3 cycles of growth: learning, unlearning, and relearning.
Can we put our hands together for them? If you like that, believe me, they are learning in adversities. So there's one thing that we all need to understand. And for as long as you're still, your life is essential. So we're going to unveil this book, but we do that, we are going to words from a sage, a mentor, a spiritual father to the author for today. And I will read his profile. You already know who I want to talk about, but I think it's just proper that I introduce him formally. Today we have in our midst Pastor Tunde Bakare, and I will read his profile. Or I can also say Dr. Tunde Bakare studied and practiced in Nigeria with renowned Ganifa Chambers and Rotimi Williams and Co. and Burke and Co. solicitors, and subsequently established his own law firm in 1984. In 1988, in the midst of flourishing practice, he was and he pioneered the first model parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of subsequently founded the Lateran Assembly in 1989, which is a global community church, and he is currently the serving overseer. Among his back to humanity, he established the Center for Reconstruction and Development, ICRD, a knowledge industry and think tank devoted to re-engineer the social, economic, and political landscape of Nigeria in particular and Africa in general. Dr. Tunde Bakare is the convener of the Save Nigeria Group, a coalition of pro-democracy with a clear mandate to promote political knowledge and participation of the Nigerian citizens through strategic activities. After decades of speaking truth to power and standing on the side of the oppressed, he has extended the frontiers of his political movement to save Nigeria, to change Nigeria, and to make Nigeria great again. Dr. Tunde Bakare was Nigerian president of the Congress for Progressive Change. He is married to his beautiful wife, Laide Bakare, and they have 5 children and grandchildren. So to unveil this book, he will give us a few words. Before we do that, put our Tunde Bakare on our spiritual mentor to the author.
Somebody praise the Lord. Adeolu warned me that I shouldn't fall there. Somebody praise the Lord. Breath of. Thank you very much in God's presence. The author and his darling wife, Pastor and Pastor Mrs. Adeolu Akinyemi, Mr. and Mrs. Adeolu, book, my friend Sega Links, Mr. Wosaya. Nobody would know what kind of rapport we had behind the scene during the terrible thing that happened at Lekki. Thank you for being yourself. Our amiable MC, Mrs. Funto Olude. Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on existing protocol. Today's book launch is a father and son affair. I'm very sure the family and friends present will benefit from this event as we rejoice with the brilliant and audacious author, and as we support his endeavor. As a father to both Adeolu and his darling wife, Temitope, there's hardly any story of their adventure, of their fortune and misfortune contained in the book being presented today that I'm not aware of. I had my advanced copy of the book. With your kind permission, I would like to rely on the words of 2 biblical personalities who also were father and son. The first personality is a preacher, the wisest, the richest, and perhaps the most influential king in Israel, King Solomon, who in the book of Ecclesiastes described as vanity, the futile emptiness of trying to be happy apart from God. He stated in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, that to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Therefore, when God gives you a vision, be prepared to shed some tears over it, because every vision comes with a price tag. The road to triumph is through tests and trials. Nobody gets a free pass. The second biblical personality is David, the man, king, father. It declares in Psalm 126, verses 5, in tears shall reap in joy. He will continually, emphasis on continually, he who continually goes forth weeping, bearing seed for sowing, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. Ladies and gentlemen, herein lies the guaranteed promise of the Father of all, God, the creator of heaven and earth, that those who sow in tears will reap with shouts of joy. They weep as they go to sow their seed, but they sing as they return with the harvest. From David the father and Solomon the son, we can learn two fundamental principles of life that Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, and Lagos Business School may not teach you. Principle number one, there's a season for weeping. This is not an excuse for passivity or a posture of weakness that reduces you to tears because life is not fair. Everyone should know, except you have never ventured into any business, everyone should know that life is not fair. So when you realize that life is not fair, the best thing to do is to turn to God in prayers. I do not know how Adeolu and his wife felt when they came to my house to tell me about their fire, the fire that burnt their building in it, just like as to the my house, my law library that I acquired for years. Want did I go about telling the whole world? Yes, I said, so start all over again. And I entered and said, this is a seat towards that. Go. My wife was so compassionate that she visited to see the fire. And I told her, I don't see burnt things, I see built up things. When they build up fresh, I'll visit again. Let's appreciate Mrs. B, very compassionate. She, I just stayed to your neighbor. When life is unfair, turn to God in prayers. Can I hear you say it again? When life is unfair, turn to God in prayer. Full example, Butler, the governor, he was moved to tears over Jerusalem's ruins. Then he prayed. He developed and rebuilt the ruins. My question is, what moves you? Passion out. Principle. There's a season for reaping. Everything in life has a reason and a season. This is not negotiable. There's no exception to this rule. But there are too many people are now willing to where they reaping with joy. When you understand the reason and you maximize the season, you become like a tree planted by rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in season. That brings in season, and whatsoever that person does shall prosper. I am sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you know the fruit won't grow until it is time or it's season. It won't grow. That's why you must discern your life's changing circumstances and adjust to them. That is particularly true of harvest time. You know, when you stop weeping, start reaping. Otherwise, it's your you fight useless battles. I remember someone who robbed them and who tried to mess them up. And Adeolu said, look, sir, this time around, I'm going to court. I said, you're doing nothing like that. Don't waste your energy on useless things. Let him go. Dig another well. And it will become. Is it not today? I remember Barrister Tokwe Adebayo is here to witness. I was building a home and they gave us, what is that thing they gave us? You remember? Advance payment guarantee. The bank gave it to us. It was about 35 million that was there to be paid, and they refused. And Tokwe prepared the writ of summons and everything. We need to sue these people. I said, Tokwe, by the time we go to court, by the time they start adjourning, by the time they take an injunction, we will not finish the building. Let them take it. We finished the building. We forgot all about it. And the person who from CBN governor and had to seek my help, I said, I would not like to put a crook as CBN governor. Whatever you sow, you reap. Tears are for the sower. A joy is for the reaper. So when your season changes, harvest your fields with joy. Adeolu and Temitokwe, big congratulations. You have paid your dues. Now it's time to enjoy what God has promised you. It's your harvest time. Lift up your eyes and look at your several fields. They're already white for harvest. May the Lord of the harvest increase your greatness and comfort you on every side in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you, ladies. Made sense to a few. Thank you.
Can we put our hands together for him one more time? Now we are moving to unveil this book of personal stories of a great experience. And I'm going to invite to join Pastor Tunde Bakare up on the stage, the author and his amazing wife. That is Adeolu Akinyemi and Temitokwe Akinyemi, CM and MI. Okay. Their entrepreneur. Great Quotient. We want Dr. Goma. Yes, please. We also want Mrs. Bakare. Please, can you come up stage? Pastor Nia Desoya, we'll need you. Any other person? And of course, the book reviewer, Mr. Shegun Awusonya. Okay. We also want Daddy and Mommy, Mr. and Mrs. Adeolu. We need you upstage. Can we have the ushers to be here, please? Yeah, I think it's fine. I think we're good. Okay, we have to rearrange ourselves because this is where it is. Yes. So we need Pastor Tunde Bakare in front. Can we have you here? The author and his wife, Adeolu and Temitokwe. Good. On this side. So I will hand over the mic. Yes. Can we have the muffler?
Praise the Lord. Sometimes my biological children and other people I mentor are very jealous of Adeolu and his daring wife. I won't tell you the nickname I call the wife behind the scene. She's my babalawo because of the supplements and everything that they have created. They will sit with me from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. asking me questions and questions. And my children will say, why do you? I said, because they ask. You don't ask. God forbid that familiarity will breed content. I fell in love with them a long time ago because of their passion and because of their resilience. The daring posture every time there is a challenge. I know what the content of the book is not fairy tale, it's real life stories. I walk through some of them with them, and they walk through some of them all alone. And I thank God that as we unveil this today, we are also unveiling destinies of many people who have failed, who will bounce back and succeed in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. You know, I told you Zach will be here, didn't I say so? Zach, come and stand by me, because you will launch this book by fire by force. He left Abuja to come here with all the disadvantages and everything on the road. And when I said, there he said, Ogamini here, only recruit to me. He didn't know that I know the story. Adeolu, you've been a blessing, you remain a blessing. You have not started. All that you have gotten is just to, strengthen your muscle. The big days are ahead of you. You have a story to tell, and that story will sell. You can't get this in Oxford or Cambridge, but you can get it from real life experience. That which our eyes have seen, our ears have heard, and our hands have handled. That's what we are supposed to communicate and teach other people. Now your life has become a story, a success story. And in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, I'm going to unveil this book today, and I'm asking it to fly on the wings of the dove into every strategic person that needs it. And I trust God's support. As you launch today, we'll launch pedestal. Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
So we unveil to you, dear entrepreneur,
by Adeolu, Akinyemi, and whether his wife's name is written there or not, is boldly written in his heart. They did this together. May I give you a copy, sir? The first person to receive it. We don't deal in Naira anymore this day. We deal in dollars. And the next person to receive it, yours is minimum $10,000. Yours, minimum. The rest, you can give whatever. Segalins, with all those chain of businesses and network, you are not going to come here free of charge. They will do our family members. I'll leave them to decide what they want. Mrs. Goma, Surikin Goma, Samanin Goma. Mrs. Bakari, you have your own money apart from mine. Shall we leave this up to the upliftment of mankind and every man who has ever failed to bounce back? We commit this book to people, to men, to women, and to those who will succeed in life. In Jesus' mighty name, and the people say, big congratulations. I can't hear you. Big congratulations. One more time, big congratulations. To God alone be all the glory and all the praise and all the adoration. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we unveil. Amen. Don't drop your copy. It's yours, but you leave a check behind in dollars, in sterling. We don't want Italian lira.
so we need to pose properly. So we hold.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away, ricochet. You take your aim. Far away. You shoot me down, but I'm above. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I'm above. I am titanium.
Dear entrepreneur, upgrade your adversity quotient has now been officially unveiled, and we will go straight to the book launch. More pictures before we go straight.
Stoneheart, machine gun, firing at the ones who run. Stoneheart, those bulletproof glass. You shoot me down, but I'm above. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I'm above.
Can we put our hands together and celebrate as we go forward to we're here is the unveiling of their entrepreneur upgrade, your adversity quotient, and of course the launching of the Titanium Tribe, which is a community of entrepreneurs who are ready to work together. So, to launch this book, this is the time we've all been waiting for, and I believe we are ready. So I will call you one by one, definitely, but we'll wait for you to come down. Let's be careful. Thank you. Yes. So I want to thank you all for being here. We're moving into the book launch and we are going to project the bank details and how you can get this book. We are every single person here not to leave the way they came. You definitely need to part with something. We had people here as you will share your adversity stories, as will also take your details as we launch this book. Is it being shared? Okay. Okay. 1 minute.
Nothing to lose. Ricochet, you take your aim. Far away, far away.
Now we're going to make it easy on each and every one of us. For those who would want to come out to let us know how much they want to launch this book, it's fine. If you do not want to do that, you could either write the amount behind the card that you have been given, or basically just make your transfer even as the account details are going to be shown on the screen. That is the account number. I don't know if we can all see it, and that's Coach B and Stewards, the Stanbic Bank account details. For as many as are ready to support this tribe and this walk, please, it's important you do not leave. We want you to do something this evening. We're about to take a please. Has launched the book. But if you want to come out, we are not forcing you, and you want to say something today, we want you. Okay, the chief launcher for today. Okay. Now, Pastor Powers invested in me by him, my spiritual father. Come on. All right. So the chief launcher for today, Mr. Zach. Can we have you? Adeolu. Can we put a hand on him as going to break the ice and open the floor?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, my pastor. My mom. I'm very sorry to come late. I don't know what people have said. When I received the invitation, I've been looking forward to the day. Through God, I have my other boss, and there are 2 people here. And I will try to manage it before we go to what you are requesting for. And then, thank God, normally I don't wear this type of jacket. I look for it to make sure that I'm not politician today, I'm not civil servant today, I'm ex-employee of Procter and Gamble that come to pay homage to someone that should have collected bribe from me that did not collect bribe. But today I want to appreciate him. So that's why I'm here. My other boss is Mr. Peter Kokoya. You know, those people that are seeing me now think that, this boy, whatever. But those people that God in his has put in my life, one of them is our father today. I've been looking for what we are going to do to celebrate the pastor, but we've not seen. But I lost my father 9 days to my entry the university. 9 days. I'm the firstborn. My father from village, they want me to go to school. I got the admission to Ife. I went home, gave him the admission letter, and then we celebrated. And 9 days to my resumption, he died. My brother took me from that church and then 5 days to me going to university. I got to the pastor church. Pastor said, I don't know what is your problem. You think everything has ended because everything I've ever known in my life is my father. But God, then from village, so I caught it. And from then, my life has never remained the same. So next, and I went back to Ife. The only thing I need, book and fellowship. They've not introduced many other things I'm competing with now to me. The only thing I need then was book, and fellowship. And then a friend said, Procter and Gamble is recruiting. He put my CV, put everything there. And I was invited. They said the test, you do it, you get the results immediately. And then that man just came very short. He let black, and he was just speaking. I said, this man. And he was just saying, this is this company. Then, and I must be frank, I never believe you can just get a job without knowing anybody. They said you've done the test and you passed. And then you will do the interview today. And the first man to test me whether I've done well or not. And I remember I came to the test with folded shirts, no jacket like this, nothing. I was in Patrick University. And then he did the interview. He said, I'm very sure you will form good member of our team. And 3 days after, I was offered the employment letter. And then it is time to bring my certificate and everything. And he was asking, where are your certificate? Your district? I said, which certificate? I'm still in Patrick University. He said, you are in Patrick. So how did we do this? I said, but I got qualified when I was in Patrick University as chartered accountant. I said, okay, so you have option. And from that day, the option he gave me has been the best option. I will save the second story because people are too many here and I don't want people to know that I'm a village boy. Oh, yes, I will launch the book. The second story. So I did so well, and he now asked me that they want to take you to abroad, go and bring your passport. I said, passport, I have it now, I don't need to go anywhere, it's here with me. I said, where is the passport? And I gave them my passport photograph. They said, I mean your international passport. I said, okay, I will bring it tomorrow because I used to keep Bia then. And in the village, they told us that if you are a policeman, you should not. So I went to clean everything, took another photograph. Following day, he asked me, where's your passport? I said, yeah, I have it now. And I gave him clean. He said, no, your international passport. I said, well, this one also, we use it in Nife, is internationally recognized. He now took me to the room. I don't know whether you remember or not. He said, you mean, he now pulled his own bag. He said like this. I said, this just look like passbook we used to use in community back in Nife. He now told me, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. He took me to Ikoyi then. And then in the morning, I took my whatever. In the evening, they gave me my passport. and they put all the visa and everything into international. So I cannot thank you enough for that trust and belief we have. So normally in this kind of thing, as a civil servant, public servant, we should not say all those things that we say. And also, I don't want to limit what people has come here to do. I don't want to limit it. So I will buy the book, and then I've read it, as you know. Instead of putting it as an entrepreneur, I think you should have said that this is fact and principle of life. It's not an entrepreneur. I read through, there are some things I want to contest again, because the way you define failure is not failure. This is the way life is. It is. Because for me, life, if there would not be mountain, there won't be valley. So we can preach, and people need to manage their expectation. Life is full of this kind of good things, not update would not be for the entrepreneur. Anybody that wants to succeed, this is a new method that we have now. This is the most only month until February. No saying nothing, fasting to make sure people put the print to where they should put it. So it's the same. Most of done this. No, this is the same. If you've not done it that way, we won't be where we are today. So we should manage the people's expectation to expect things are smooth. It's not smooth. When I go somewhere and say, this boy, you are too hard. As if I'm not hard, I will survive. We must be hard to be survived. So I will launch it with the sum of 10 million.
Okay. So he has broken the ice. Mr. Zach Adeolu has launched with a million together. So for those of us who are here, if you want to purchase the book today, the book is 25,000 naira per copy. It comes with a journal so that you can also write a few notes down. Please ensure that you buy the book today. So who else will be launching this book? We have broken the ice with 10 million naira. Don't be scared. I have given you the minimum amount for today, which is 25,000 naira. That is just for today. If I am very annoyed, I will change the price to 50K. So you better come out now or ask the ushers for the book. The book will be passed around. You can also either go to the back to pick it up or make a transfer. But we will call a few people as well to share their story and also launch the book as well. And I would like to call on Mrs. Adeolu Ojo to share her story as well as launch this book. Can we put our hands together for her? She's not just a friend, but she has been part of our lives for the past 30-something years. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. As she said, my name is Adeolu Ojo. So I'll just be brief. I started reading in school on September 12, 2011. And we started with my kids, just 3 children. And we're so happy. Like 3 days after we started the school, a family came with 5 children. So we became 8. Then we had other 5 different families come in and we became 13. So everything went well, but the family that came with 5 children had their children in all the classes. I think they had about a year gap each. So from year 1, we had to employ 5 different teachers. Then they were in school. After 2 weeks, they came and said, sorry, we're withdrawing our children. We thought your school would get filled up really fast. And it was just like a week or 2. And we're like, can you just please wait till next term so we can have, they were like, no, that they needed to go and they wanted to collect their money. And I was wondering, we had already employed people, giving them contracts in 5 different classes. And you know what that meant? Number 1, to even start the business was not easy. Not that we had all the money, but we didn't want to rent. So we got, that's another story for another day, actually. When we wanted to buy the building belonged to Franco Lizzie. And he said, I like young people doing great things. I was 34. And he said he had someone that would pay him cash, but because he wanted to encourage us, he said we could pay 4 times. So the building was 120 million then. So he said we could pay 4 times. In fact, even the 1 quarter we had to, go around, sell some small property to do that. Then we only renovated the ground floor. So you can imagine it was a lot for us, for the children to go, because we were actually working with nothing. So they went and they really mounted pressure on us. We had to give them their money back. At first, I was like, we can't give you your money. The money is supposed to be per term. We don't charge daily that will refund. But because it became a lot of problems, we just said, okay, you can have your money. So we continued. So by the next term, we became 23. Then the next term, we started increasing. Then I had a head of junior school. The junior school was like, I think about 30. In all, we were about 70 something. We had more of the little ones. So I had a head of school. The head of school was older. I felt she just wanted to suppress me. I can remember we had a meeting and we were meant to introduce ourselves. And she stood up and she introduced herself and she said her hobby is to oppress people. So you can imagine that kind of a person. So she really was oppressing everybody around. This kind of person that wants her presence known. She feels you're too young to have what you have. And even though she's your staff, she wants to be your boss. So one way or the other, I didn't even know that she had plans in the school. Even with the camera, she had some staff that were really loyal to her. They would pack children's food and eat. I didn't even know. And this is someone that, so I couldn't even believe she could do that. And it's not even that she was poor or anything. I just felt she just wanted to just deal with the business. So not knowing that everybody, anyone that comes to his class, she refers them to another school, which she was going to go and be the head. So her mission in the school was to get kids from the school and send to the other school. So we kept growing, but every time people would leave like 20s, in 50s, in 70s. And I was really depressed. There was a time I came to Adeolu and I asked him that how could I turn my school to a multi-level business school that probably if the parents had something to gain from the school, maybe they would stay. So we looked through it and all, and we just didn't find it. It was not really a physical product or a product that you could say, okay, if you bring one student, you can't bring more than the children that you have, or just give word of mouth to your friends. So we kept on like that. So we now spoke, he suggested that we should have like a partnership bonus for anybody that brings their kid to school, then they will get a partner. But she kept on doing that side recruitment for the other school. So there was one of the problem with the people, her team now came and said, Ms. Ojo, you're a very nice person. Do you know what is going on in your school? All those people that are leaving are going to schools, like a school some streets away, that I should send someone to check. And when I went there, I was shocked. I thought the school was a clone of my own school. The register, the decor, the classes, because I set up a Montessori school and it was strictly Montessori. We were doing vertical grouping. So each class had a system. Everything we did in the school was the same. In fact, when they were taking my teacher on tour, she said she thought she was the one taking people on tour. So it was that bad. So I saw a register that they even wrote her name and said Miss Grace's referrals. So it was like that. She took a lot of people away from the school. But when I found out, I called the other teachers because there's one standing rule we had in the school. We used to pray every morning. The Christian school. So we had a practice, we pray and a family school at once. So I told all the other teachers and they decided that they were going to write the parents. So I think about 70 people went to that school, but they were able to bring up to 50 people back and the other 20 went and I had to tell her to go. But so many years after when I saw her, she wrote a letter that she was sorry because she actually even told the other parents that the other teachers were not Montessorians and all. So we had to print everybody's certificate and stick on the doors of the class. So I think where she went to, they actually found out that she was even the only Montessorian there and she was training the other people. And so a lot of them came back. And in that same place she went to, she had to leave. She was told to leave. I guess maybe she did something like that. So what I want to bring out is that all the while when people were leaving, I was like, when you have a school, people come and go. You can't force them to be with you forever. But when you have such things, have a new strategy. When you have people leave, find out why they're leaving and come back in a new way. So what I did was, each time I had a failure, I just look inwards, I see what I'm not doing well, and if I feel I'm doing everything well, I keep doing my best, and people started recognizing the school far and near, and today we're close to 500 in the school.
I'll put our hands together.
Up to SS3, we've graduated 3 sets.
Fantastic.
And our first set had beautiful scores, Ivy League scores, and the school is doing well. We're well recognized, and we thank God for that.
Can we put our hands together?
Put you down is not a time to fight them. It's a time to look inward and see how you can better yourself and better your vision. I'm launching the book, but it's going to be silently in my mind.
Okay, can we put our hands together for Mrs. Adeolu? This is to remind table, if you do not want to say the amounts, please write behind the card the amounts that you are launching the book with your details right in front. Call on the ushers. Ushers go right. Can get the details from every guest that is seated here. If you want to pick a copy today, it's going for 25,000 Naira minimum, but you know that you are here to launch it. So definitely it will be more than that. We'll quickly take Barrister Adebayo. I hope I'm right. Yes. To go. That's what Pastor Bakari is saying. Okay, so to share his story and also launch the book. Please, don't swallow your amount.
Well, permit me to stand on existing protocol.
So if you do not have the account details, they're right on the screen. Coach B and stewards, I can read the number. I went to school. 0022980730, Stanbic Bank. Please make your transfer.
So permit me to, our time is fast spent, and permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Because of time, I don't think I'll be able to, share an elaborate experience. I'm a legal practitioner, and I started my business in 2008. And the only experience that I can say I had, I would say, arose from my not paying, attention to what my father in the Lord who is there, Pastor Sunday Bakari, then I was not paying attention to the teachings, some of the teachings, especially from the book of Proverbs. And one of the which I learned later was very painful to me was the instruction that we should not stand shorty for a stranger. When I realized I stood shorty for a stranger, and that affected my business for like a year. Because of that, what I did, I lost about 14 million when I just started my business. I stood shorty, so I had to pay back. Paying back, I had to borrow to pay back. And in paying back, it affected our cash flow that I was unable to pay salary for 5 months. So it affected some of our lawyers, very good hands left because of that incident. Later, I realized that there was sufficient provision in the scripture for me to have taken advantage of. I didn't take advantage of it, and then it affected me so badly. Well, we bounced back, and that is the long and short of the story. I will not be able to announce a big figure, and I'm not in the, I don't have the style. My style is not announcing figure. I'll talk to him privately. I'll let him know what I'll put down, but it won't be something small, by the grace of God. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we put our hands together for Barrister Adebayo? It reminds me of a book launch that I anchored, and we were all civil servants, and we were asked to launch the book, and everybody came. According to Civil Service Code, I cannot disclose the amount. So everybody kept quiet until when the director of administration said there's nothing like that in the Civil Service Code. So we were all forced to declare the amount. But are we civil servants here? Oh, no way. Okay. So now, the author of this book, Dear Entrepreneur, Upgrade Your Adversity Quotient, is an alumni of a fantastic school. He and his wife, they are the only couple of the 94 sets. So some of the 94 sets people or FGC learning, I believe that you are here. So begin to come out before I start calling you one by one. Every FGCI alumni, you are here to launch this book, led by VGA, Victor, So let's go. Adeton Ojo, you can still come up. Pastor Rotimi. No worry, just come and support. Now only you waka come. If you went to HGC learning, even if you're a junior, before I call you, because I am your senior here today. Boju, oh yeah, come up. Just come and support, don't worry. So we hand over to who? The man of God, the spokesperson. Let's decide who.
Okay, I said, we're saying before you came down, all of us were in ministry. And, for people in ministry, we hardly say things in public. However, well, we're all busy in the work of the Lord. Okay, so it's nice to connect again. I was telling my wife earlier today as I was getting ready that 1989 looks like yesterday. And we all used to know each other as 10-year-old and 11-year-olds. But we thank God for life, thank God for grace, thank God for everything. And we're so excited. I mean, I was on the WhatsApp group of the class and people from all over the world celebrating with you. And we're quite excited being here and cheering you on. We're proud of all the feats you've done over the years, where you're an epitome of what God can do in one's life. And as a collection of your classmates, we're proud of you. We've not had enough time to confer, but I think I can take a risk on behalf of everybody. A risk that I'm sure that somehow we won't get into trouble. Okay, so on behalf of the 94 set of FGC Lorry, I'm not sure of our number, but I want to, about 170 active WhatsApp group. Either way, we want to launch the book with a sum of 1 million naira.
Oh, he has spoken of.
But they can add to it, it depends. That's where my
No, they'll definitely add to it.
No, don't worry.
Are you saying 2 million on behalf of FGCI? But I know one M we can risk, but
I don't really like. I don't like announcing.
Why not just tell Victor so I can announce on your behalf?
No. We'll sort it out on the. We always support each other. We support a lot. So
minimum commitment is 1 million. Adeolu, we will take the risk, and we're proud of you.
Can we put our hands together, including Baju, who is part of us? All right, so we are moving on quickly. Remember, this is a very quick book launch, but please remember there is a tribe. Do not leave without filling the card. We want you to be part of it. Do you have a young person that is going through something that you need or you believe should be part of this tribe? This is just the greatest opportunity. Purchase a copy of the book, let the person be part of it so that definitely they will take the ride with someone until they're able to reach their destination. So we go on with the launch of this book, but I believe there's someone here that we need to still recognize and actually take a few words from him. I'm not sure whether he is still seated here. 1 minute, please. Can we put our hands together as Pastor Tunde Bakare takes his leave? Thank you very much, sir, for gracing this occasion. God bless you. So thank you, everyone seated here. I believe you've had a beautiful time learning, unlearning, and of course, being part of this book launch. We are going to quickly take the vote of thanks while we allow the book launch to still continue. You can still pick up the book, you can mingle and network because this is an opportunity for you to meet someone. But to do the vote of thanks is none other than confident what the partner, his ride and die partner in this race and this journey that has produced this book as well. And of course, the experience they've had cannot be overemphasized. It shows that this is a union really ordained by God. I'm sure there's a book coming up very soon. My Spouse, My Business Partner. That's the title of the book. I've given you the name. That. That book is coming very soon. So to give the vote of thanks is none other than M.I., the wife of our author, Adeolu Akinyemi, Mrs. Temitope Akinyemi, to give the vote of thanks. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Funto. Everyone. Good evening, everyone. Don't mind me, I like feedback. I'd like to, I don't know, at the point where my name was being called, I just went blank, but there's something that was recurring in my mind for the past like 2 hours. And that's the fact that I have an idea of what today has been like in the whole of Lagos. I already went for a wedding in Meron this morning. Yeah, so I know what we had to battle to come here. I met some people who, this is their third event for today. And some people stuck in traffic. Some people are watching online. We have family, we have friends, we have alumni, we have people all over the world just cheering us on, and I just want to thank God for a day like this. I want to thank God for the journey that we have come through. And I want to thank every single one who is watching and probably those who will hear about this after now. You don't know what you do when you tell someone, just give somebody a word of encouragement to tell them, I have hope. Just looking at you, just seeing your story, just watching you. I remember one of the groups that we support, the market women. When we had the fire, the women came there the next day. They started cursing. They started, we had to like encourage them and say, no, we'll pray. We'll, all of that. And I just want to thank. it just traverses across different spheres of society. And I want to thank everyone who physically made it to be here. I will not take for granted everyone who decided and who made it happen to be here. Please help me put your hands together for yourselves. I appreciate you. We appreciate you deeply, 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 deeply. And we do not take your coming here for granted. Adeolu said earlier, the journey continues. In fact, between when the book got ready and now, really, we're supposed to write, maybe we'll have like 3 other books out. But it just goes to show that, that's what life is really all about. And being able to keep your head up, being able to stand in the face of adversity, being able to rise is God's grace and a community of people around us. And I would like to say, finally, before I go to take my seat, about the Titanium tribe. Many times we are not very open about the challenges that we go through. I would like to say the Titanium tribe is a safe place. And, that's just how I would like to end it, is to say that it's a really safe place. There are some times when you find yourself in trouble, that it's your stupidity that brought you into those things. And, you can really, it's a safe place. I would like to encourage as many people as possible. Let's come together, give ourselves the support that we need. And let's, ensure that in a nation where things don't work, we are able to rise, to turn the economy around, turn our own businesses around, and create a nation that truly, truly works. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We appreciate you all. And I pray for journey mercies to your different destinations. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MI. We are glad to have each and every one of you here. Thank you for sitting through this book launch. We made sure that we finished on time so that you can step out. This is Lagos. We know that there's a lot of traffic. Even getting here was a Herculean task for some people. So we are glad that we didn't take too much of your time. But remember, if you still haven't launched this book, please, the account details are being scrolled, and we know that definitely you are going to send something in. Thank you for sitting through. I have been your host for today. My name is Olufunso Olude. We have one more announcement. Oh, okay. So, some people have decided to wake up towards the end. The green community, they are ready to launch this book. Can we put our hands together for them? And they're going to do it in grand style. Come on. Green community, let's see you come up. Are you going to make your announcement? Can we have the green community? Everybody come outside. I'm glad that you decided to make this before we close the day. So who's taking it?
Hello, and gentlemen. We are representing the green community, and a lot of the stories that were shared here, the adversity stories that were overcome, we know a bit of them because we experienced some of them with our MD, our leader. Were part of the burning of our warehouse, our products, and all of that. It was a very interesting period. But we saw firsthand, how to bounce back from failure, how to bounce back from negative bounce back ability. We had something like that. We used to talk about something like that. So I'm going to allow Dr. Fumi Aina say a few words, and then we'll announce what we are setting ball rolling with. We're a larger community than this, so what we are doing here, we believe is going to be a lot more for us to do more to support our leader. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just to echo what Yoma said, the book, we feel part of it because we had first-hand experience of a lot of what is in there, and some of us are even somehow contributors in the book. So we feel, I mean, we're very happy today to be part of this. It's a real privilege, you know, and we've learned a lot from the attitude, even especially on the day of the fire, where it was like morning, but we came and CM and MI. So we're privileged to be here, and I'll hand over to.
We're doing, the Green Community is doing a minimum of ₦1 million, and we're going to keep growing that from there. Thank you very much. Thank you, CM, and congratulations, MI.
Thank you very much, the Green Community. They have launched with ₦1 million, which will be going up, definitely. That is just for starters. We want to thank every single person here. Thank you, Pastor Niyi Adesonya, for sitting through till the end. I believe you have launched the book. Thank you very much. Everyone, this is the time for you to mingle, get to know someone, exchange your cards. Please, you can try. Be careful not to exchange your credit cards or your debit cards.